Get caught in a net with ANet. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with ANet. It's your intellectual radio show. Here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net with ANet. Get caught in a net with ANet. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with ANet.
A word from our sponsor.
Do you love tea? No, not the gossip. I'm talking about the soothing cup of herbal or fruity teas that wake you up in the morning or relaxes you at night.
Well, the Irie Cup has you covered with their premium, flavorful, whole leaf tea selection. Not only are the flavors robust, but because their tea leaves are fully intact, you reap all the natural benefits tea has to offer.
And right now, receive 10% off your first order when you subscribe to our mailing list. That's 10% off your first order.
Visit www.theiriecup.com to place your first order today. That's www.theiriecup.com to place your order today.
Welcome to your tea oasis.
Ooh, all right. Welcome to Mind, Body, and Soul with ANet. I am your host, ANet Harris, and I want to thank you in advance for watching and or listening. I'm excited today. I have that I'm going to introduce a guest to you. But before I do that, I want to let you know that there are a few ways that you can listen to us on today. We are here on my Facebook Live page, ANet, Get Caught in ANet. And then also we are the audio portion of today's segment is on my YouTube channel. So if you would be so kind as to go to YouTube and then type in Get Caught in ANet, ANET, then you will definitely hear us live there. At the end of the show, we will upload the video portion of today's segment. Now, I am excited also because I have a new sponsor for Mind, Body, and Soul with ANet, a new sponsor alert. Many of you have seen the advertisement for it, and the Irie Cup is my new sponsor, Joseph and LaShonda Lewis. They are my new sponsors with this wonderful, wonderful business that they have, a tea business. And it would take them to explain to you everything, but I want you guys to make sure you go to the iriecup.com, IRIE-cup.com, and make sure you tell them that I sent you. If you are a tea drinker, or if you know of someone who is a tea drinker, who loves teas, or maybe you can get them on board if they don't like tea. Maybe they're coffee drinkers or something now, but you want to encourage them to drink tea. I will encourage you, please contact LaShonda and Joseph Lewis at the IrieCup.com. Now, I am actually waiting for my guest to come on in on today. We are going to a wonderful a young man that I have been made my acquaintance with. And I actually was made acquainted with him through Facebook. Saw a post of his, and actually I think I was tagged on his post. And so I was, they were telling me, I'll just say the name, Zoriante Brown referred me. I believe that he works with Patrick. And so he said, oh my goodness, this may be a good guest for your show. And so he has presented himself now. But what I'm going to do, you guys know, I always open up with a word of prayer. So I have to do that. Lord, we do thank you for this wonderful day. We thank you for what you have done, what you're going to do. We ask that you would get the glory out of this session and everything we go to say and do. And I pray that others will be blessed by what they hear on today. Our opening scripture is the first part of Hosea 4:6, and it states, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee." And on today's segment, we are going to learn an awful lot that we can take in ourselves, try and make some changes, if you will, ourselves. And so I am excited to present to many of you. Some of you may already know this young man because actually he has a podcast himself. Patrick Johnson is in the virtual house. Are you good and settled over there? How you doing?
Yes, I'm finally good and settled. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful. We chatted a little bit before we came on the air, and Mr. Johnson was telling me about all his humongous. Well, I shouldn't say humongous. His exercise on this morning. And I'm like, oh yeah, my goodness. Exercise. He runs circles, I'm telling you, around you guys with this exercise, and I'm telling you, whoa. And you know what? I can't say his motto like he always says it. I see Zuri threw it in there. Let's go, Patrick Johnson. And at some point, I'm gonna have him say it himself because he says it so well. But he says that let's go because he's trying to motivate, he's trying to encourage, and he's not just one of those individuals who will tell you what you need to do. He's going out and he's doing it himself as well, and he's showing you how you should do it and what you should do. So this is, I appreciate that about you, may I say that, and your encouragement and what you have done thus far. So Patrick, do me a favor, why don't you introduce yourself to my listeners, to the viewers of Mind, Body, and Soul, Get Caught in the Net, and then we'll kind of go into talking about your journey on today.
Oh, okay. No problem. Well, my name is Patrick Johnson. I'm founder of ClearMind Fitness. It's a cultivating place where we can come and express our issues or just things that we want to talk about. So just me, myself, we're creating a podcast. I wanted to give insight to areas that were deemed, for people who look like me, they weren't deemed possible. There are certain aspects that I grew up with and things that I learned along the way that helped shape the narrative of where I want to go in life now. So just a little bit about myself. When I amassed a weight to like 302 pounds. I was 302.
You were 302?
Yes, I was 302. I was 302 pounds. That's something that I don't necessarily, now I can say it now without a problem. But then I stopped telling people. I was just like, yeah, I'm like 285. And I just leave it at that. I wouldn't try to go beyond that. But, my doctor's record showed, where I was at and how big the weight I amassed. So just even with gaining the weight, I knew that at some point I had to change what I had to do. And I didn't want to be 300 pounds anymore. I didn't want to take medications. I didn't want to go about life the normal way, how doctors want to just cure a symptom and not actually heal the problem. And that was very important to me. And just having that talk with God about where I wanted to go is that I wasn't serious even in the conversations I was having with him. And he could tell, because there were instances where something could happen and I'm just like, well, maybe I might not be doing it right. So I'm just going to try to do it another way. And it's like, no, you're doing it in a way that I didn't even put that out as an option on the table. So I know God didn't take me serious in my conversations with him. But just to backtrack just a little bit, when I have these type of conversations with God, because 2008, I was shot. And it's something that I go back to because 2008 was a dark space after July 20th. So I have these talks with God where I have these revelations and he's like, all right, I can give you more if you stop doing, I can give you more, but you have to appreciate what I've already given you in order for me to give you even more of what you want. And I'm like, okay. So I just kept doing, certain things and it just wasn't working. So every time I had a revelation, I ended up in a hospital. Every single time I had a revelation. So 2008, hospital, 2010, hospital, 2013, 14, and 16, hospital. So it was just like, how many times do you have to have this revelation till you realize like, okay, I need to do something different about this. And 2017 is when everything clicked and everything just became the biggest reality that I ever had hit me. So
Wow.
2017 is when everything kind of just took off.
Oh my goodness. So it wasn't just
Yeah.
like an epiphany. I mean, things were happening.
Oh yeah.
If you will.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, for one, I ended up having polyps in my colon. So and that was 2017. Because I had an issue where I was bleeding every time I went to the washroom. So for 5 years, I dealt with that, and I didn't want to talk to anyone about it. People who look like me don't talk about those type of things. And if you do, you aren't telling the whole truth with the person you're telling it with. So a lot of times it's like, who do you go and say, hey man, I'm bleeding when I go to the bathroom, when I go and try to release and all that. And it's just like, it was a trying time. So fast forward, I'm in the hospital. I go for a colonoscopy. October 31st, 2017. I love to give details and context to the date because I want to give you where I'm going to. There's always what's to come is better than what's been, but we'll get to that later. But what the thing is that I want to say is that in October 31st, 2017, I have a colonoscopy. The colonoscopy kind of, let's say it went wrong. The doctor had burned a hole into my intestines during the colonoscopy. What had happened was that your intestines are like a 3-layer cake, right? And when you go to burn things off, you burn so much that the top layer went away. So the top layer was gone. So I'm working with 2 layers of intestines, not knowing that this is what's going on during the colonoscopy. So I wake up, I'm like, I'm in pain, but I'm not thinking it's too bad. I come home, they told me I can't really eat anything heavy. So I ate almonds. The next morning, November 1st, 2017, I wake up in a fetal position. I can't move. Not knowing that I have almonds running throughout my entire body because of the hole that's been placed in my intestines. And so I'm on the floor for like 2 or 3 hours. My daughter was 2, I want to say she was 2 or 3 years old at the time. She was 2. And she's crying, but trying to understand what's going on because I can't even cultivate words. That's how much pain that I was in because of the hole in my intestines. So my fiance at the time, I mustered up enough strength to get my phone, call her like, hey, you need to get here as soon as possible. I think I'm dying. I don't know what's going on. And I don't like to use those words lightly, but it really felt as if I had 1,000 needles just being poked in one area at that specific time. And it felt like I was having an anxiety attack in real time. I'm having an anxiety attack while I'm being attacked from my inside with my intestines. I get rushed to the hospital. Doctors automatically know what's going on. I'm telling them what's going on. They're like, we're rushing you into surgery. We're going to install a colostomy bag in your stomach. And I'm like, I'll say, wait a minute, what? And it's like, yeah, and the way he's breaking it down is if it's just so normal and just so regular to just talk about removing my intestines and placing a colostomy bag inside of me. And I'm trying to come to grips with this because in 15 minutes, my life is about to change. And he's saying from 6 months to a year, I'll have to wear this bag. And, you have to deal with erectile dysfunction, passing gas through your mouth, like all these type of different scenarios that I put myself in. So I'm thinking about all these things. I'm crying to myself because just the year before I had a hernia removal out my groin. And that within itself was just detrimental to my mindset. And so here it is. I've been shot. I've been depressed. For 4 years of my life, I don't know, from 2013 to 2017, I really can't remember too much. And that goes to what I was eating and I was consuming and what I let bother me. So when I'm in the hospital and they're telling me what's going on, so 15 minutes later, I'm being rushed in. They rubbing all the orange and red stuff all over me. I'm crying my eyes out because a colostomy bag that's life-changing.
Yeah.
That's a life-changing thing. And at the time, I'm 30 years old. I'm like, wait a minute, man. I'm like, I'm 30 at the time. So I'm like, a colostomy bag doesn't seem feasible for my lifestyle because I know people who have that and what it has done to their life, and it has put them in a dark place. And once you don't control your mindset, that dark place becomes a family room. Then it becomes a living room. Now it had made it to your bedroom. So all the places that you go in your house have been affected by the way that your mindset is going, because you've already, that door is wide open. You've let depression, you've let trauma, you let all of those little things through the front door because they had a key. They have the key to your mindset. So it's like, I was going through all of these things. And I'm like, man, so whatever I was touching, this felt like it was becoming miserable around me. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm the problem. But it's also about how I'm treating myself that's making me act this way. So if you can control your mind, you can control your mindset. That's my mantra. I say it all the time. So I'm in that hospital. The doctor reels me out and says, you know what? We're not going to perform the surgery on you. We're going to just let your body heal. Let's see if your body can heal. And I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, as long as you don't have to install no colostomy bag in me, I'm like, man, I'm cool. Let's wait some other options. Okay, because y'all didn't give me no options when I came in here. The first thing you said was that you were cutting me from my left hip to my right hip, and you were going to install a colostomy bag, not knowing the actual time frame where I'm going to have this bag installed inside. So they wheeled me out. I end up staying in the hospital for 6 days. 6 days, I had no food, no water, no ice, nothing. I had IVs in my arms for 2 days. For 6 days, 2 IVs. So don't nobody tell me about how you hungry and you can't have nothing to eat, because I went 6 days with no food. But let me tell you something. I get out on the 7th day, and I'm more spiritual than I am religious than anything, but I want people to understand that my God is just my God, and I understand your God can be your God. But if we all in the same room, we can praise each other together. We can praise with each other. That's the one thing that I understand, is that we can come together and win, but people don't understand it because they don't control the mindset, and they think that society wants to let them keep doing what they're doing without any consequences behind it. But I'm not here for that, because I want you to not only keep the body, but keep your mind, because society, you have your body, but society has your mind. So it's just like, where are you going with this? And that's how the government in certain instances treats things, because it's all about a mind thing. And if you don't can control your mind, you can be swayed in any type of way. So when I get out of the hospital, I actually end up getting out of the hospital. The doctors give me 5 medications to take. I look my doctor square in his face and I said, you know what? I'm not taking out one of these medications. He was like, Patrick, I'm just going to let you know something right now. He was like, hey, you are not in the best of health. You know, you have a hole in your intestine. And the hole actually ended up closing, thank God. And they said that I was young enough for my body to heal itself. So the 5 medications, 2 were for high blood pressure, 1 was for depression, another was for anxiety, and another was for cholesterol. And I took the medications and I ripped them up and I threw them in the garbage. My doctor, I said, I'll see you in a couple months and I'll let you know what I'm doing. A couple months go by. I instantly, December 2017, I stopped eating meat. So I stopped eating meat. I stopped eating pork, beef. I haven't had seafood in 18 years right now anyway, so I'm allergic to it. So I haven't had that in a long time. But I stopped eating those things because I asked God, I said, God, if you can get me out of this, that was another time. So I went back to having a conversation with God. I said, hey, if you can get me out of this situation, I said, I'm serious this time. I said, if you can get me out of this situation, I said, I guarantee you I'll never go back to the person I once was. I said that, and God said, you know what, Patrick? Right now, if you give me your all right now, I guarantee you I'll move mountains, you'll love yourself, and you'll help produce the world a better progress of just a domino effect of positivity. I mean, that's what I was going to do. And I asked God for that because my goal every day is to make the world smile. So I felt like right then and there, I took it and I was like, I'm done with giving my body the things that it doesn't need to succeed. I can't get life off a dead source. So it's like to eat dead food. I call it cemetery food. People don't like when I say that, but when you think about the cause and effect of what that food does to you, you'll think twice about injecting your body with something that it doesn't need in the first place. Just to give you an example, if you eat something that has high fructose corn syrup in it, that's already an amount of sugar that it has already. High fructose corn syrup is just 10 times stronger than what the sugar that it was made with in the first place. So if I'm already liking something, why must I like it more?
Wow.
That's what I'm trying to get people to understand is that, and people don't like the reference, but it's just like the government and the dope game. Just to give you an example of context. In its purest state, it costs the most, right? But the more I step on it, the cheaper it gets. And I don't care who buys it because I'm running out of product. All I know is that you just keep coming back for more and more and more, because I told you, you can keep your body, but I'm going to keep your mind. So when you keep thinking that you're free to go do, the thing is, you have the freedom to go and eat and buy stuff that you want. But the effect is what comes after you eat those type of things. And it's just like, well, if you had can control this, you would stop putting things into your body that won't give you life. You can't get life off cemetery food. I try to tell people that, but it's not about how I'm trying to deliver the message now, because I get it. When I first got to try to do veganism, I was brash, I was hard, I was bold, but it was like, you need to have the elevator mindset. I want to bring people up with me. I didn't get to where I'm at overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. I get that. So the one thing that I understand that I possess is that if I can bring you up with me, you can teach me something. And if you can teach me something, I know I can teach you a little bit more. So that's how we're going to keep on coming up, because there's no more crab in the barrel. It's about an elevator mindset. I can bring you with me. I want that cafeteria mindset. I don't care where you sit at in my cafeteria. I just want you to have a plate. You see what I'm saying? Let's go. I love you. See, I told you I was going to get there. I was going to get there, baby. I was going to get there. Woo! I love it though. This is what I do. And that's why I want people to understand. When I got out of that hospital, I told God, I said, listen, I'm not going to do it anymore. I said, whatever it is, if it's not like you, I'm not with it anymore. So I removed the bad food. I removed the alcohol. I removed all of those things. It was blinding my eyesight. That's hence the name Clear Mind. I didn't have a clear mind when I was sitting there. So when I asked God, I said, God, I'm always asking you what I want to do with my life. What am I supposed to do? So he gave me a word. And I was like, he gave me 2 words. And I was like, God, I want a business. I want to create something, but I don't know how I'm going to heal what's going on with me. So he said, Patrick, healthy cells. And I'm like, what? He's like, healthy cells. And I'm sitting in the hospital bed, and I'm like, what does healthy self mean? About 4 or 5 hours go by, my dad's talking to my mom, but I don't hear anybody. I'm talking with God right now. So when he kept saying healthy self, healthy self, healthy self, and it became heal thyself. So when I found what I was asking for, I said, heal thyself. So that's what I'm gonna do. He handed me those 5 medications. I said, no, rip those up. I said, I'm going to heal myself. So when I went back to the doctor, because this just goes to show you, I waited. I didn't even want to go back to the doctor. I said, I'm gonna wait a couple months. So January 28th, I got up. I ran 5 miles out of nowhere. January 29th, I got up. I ran 5 miles out of anywhere. I said, God, I don't know how I can do this. I don't know how to run. I don't know how to be an athlete. He said, Patrick, you asked me if I were to remove those things from your mindset, you would give me your all. And I said that. So once I started saying the stuff that I couldn't do, he started showing me the things that I could do. I started running 5 miles just out of anywhere. I'm not a runner. I was 300 pounds. Hey, you listen to what I'm trying to say. So it's like, I'm like, God, my shins hurt. I remember going to Vomit Trail and I was crying 5 years ago, July 15, 2015. I'm sitting on the trail. I'm crying. I post a video up all the time because I want people to know what's to come. It's better than what's been. So what I know that you've been in that dark place. You've been in that dark room. You've been in that dark tower. But it's like, you know what? If you can see somebody that looks like me and that looks like you, we can build together. And if we can build together, we can grow together. And we can grow together. We can go anywhere we want to go. That's what I'm trying to tell people. You told me, oh, Pat, you can't do this. They told me I couldn't run a marathon. I said, what? I'm a train myself. Within a month, I'm a train. I reached out to one other person. He's like, you know what? I see your drive. I see your consistency. You're consistently consistent, and I want to help you. And that's what the people start coming to you, because people draw off your energy. So if you give off great energy, great things that come unto you. Once you see that those type of people aren't for you, you need to just help them with the elevator mindset and bring them to where you at. Because most people want to go from 0 to 100, but I'm trying to tell you, level 67, something is very important there. So you must stop and go to level 67 and see what's going on, because I might have seen something that you didn't see, but we all in this together.
Yeah. I
get woo.
Listen, let me tell you this before I go any further. How exciting it is for me to hear a young person such as yourself to be this enthusiastic about your body, about healing thyself. I mean, it just sounds so wonderful to the ears. I'm just going to tell you that.
I appreciate that.
I have really been enjoying you. Let me hop on here. because everybody is fired up. They are throwing up all these emojis and they're commenting.
I can't
So
see it, so I'm loving it though.
Right. You were in the zone. But let me
In the
recognize some
zone.
individuals. I do see you, Kmetris and Zori and Auntie San. Thanks for watching. And Alexander Fridge. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for watching. Richard Nash, Karen Peterson, Gail, Reed Thomas. We appreciate you. Beatrice is on and watching. Brandy, Michelle Miller. Let's see, who else do I have? Body and Mind, yes, says Beatrice. Okay, Karen is tagging. Conversation with God. Yeah, I hear you, Zori. He obviously was having a whole lot of conversations with him. VMAC, I think I saw you pop in. Thanks so much. That's another young lady. She's serious about her working out and her health. I wanted to make sure she comes in and listen to you as well. Let's see, great conversation. Once you understand how absolutely powerful your mindset is, down to the point of directly controlling your physiology and very health, you gain a respect for how fearfully and complex God created our brains to be. Understanding that gives us a new respect for the true power of our minds. We give other societal and environmental factors way too much credit. Okay, Brandy, that was Brandy's comment. Yeah, that was deep. Hey, Melvin Woodard, thanks for watching. We appreciate you. Okay, who else do I see here? Oh, you guys are serious about tagging individuals. Thank you. Heal thyself. They love that comment. Zori says, what's to come is better than what's been. Karen says, wow, good stuff, preach. Okay, and I'm scrolling, guys. I'm scrolling. Consistency. I see it. Linda G. Oh, thanks, Linda. Thanks, cousin. I know you normally like to watch shows like this, so thank you for joining us. You guys make sure, click that share button. Click it. Throw out the hearts, throw up the thumbs up, the care button, if you will. That's going to push it out a whole lot more. But yeah, guys, this is really, really impressive, may I say. But I'm encouraged by it. You're much younger than I am, but I'm encouraged to hear. I was just having a conversation with someone earlier about how we appreciate your generation. I'm going to say that because it's almost like you see something and you go for it, and you don't really necessarily let too many things hinder you. You say you were 300 pounds, but you were like, okay, I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna run, and you started making that change. But what I appreciated and what ANet always says, everything starts in the mind. So you had to reprogram your mindset, to even get to that point. You had to reprogram your mind to even get out there at 300 pounds and running. You had to reprogram your mindset to even tear up those prescriptions that the doctor gave you. That it started, it had to start back somewhere. But that is so important. That's why it's so key to make sure that we are actually feeding our minds the correct information, if you will. Get in your word, however you need to do it, but get on that positive side, because that's what's going to control what you do. And so this is what Patrick is telling us about on today. ClearMind Fitness. This young man has actually had a life-changing event. I think I'm stuck though, Patrick, back with you going into the hospital in 2017 and them getting ready to do this surgery. I think my mind is still back there, because that was just really mind blowing. And we know that the Lord worked on your behalf. And then I appreciated how you continue to keep that open dialogue with the Lord. You probably didn't have no pretty prayers. Look, Lord, if you do this, I'm do this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me, what was happening. It was. But it's important to keep that, that relationship with Christ, and then to, make sure you are hearing what he says. Because you know what? So many people, I would tell you, they don't want to talk to the Lord. They don't want to hear what he has to say. They have their own plans laid out, if you will, and they're going to follow that.
Every single time.
Yes, yes. And it's amazing to me how you said every time you would tell the Lord that you would end up in the hospital or healed, that's like
Every time,
wow.
every single time. It's like, and that's why he was just like, I'm not taking you serious. Like, I'll take you serious when you get serious. And that's what ended up happening for me. And just to hear you say that about just the younger generation, and it makes me feel good for numerous reasons. One, just coming up as a child, you couldn't question anything that your parents said. You couldn't, even if right, wrong, and different, you just had to stay in a child's place. But the one thing that I find a little uneasy about just naming it a child's place is that a child has feelings just like an adult does, and my anxiety doesn't have an age on it. My anxiety is anxiety. So if I'm anxious about a situation, I'm gonna be anxious about it. I'm gonna grow up that way. If I grow up with insecurities, if I'm at a certain age with insecurities, I'm 10, 11 years old, and I don't talk about those issues, then I'm going to grow up with an insecure man. And that's where I have problems. And this is why I want to help men who look like me, because there are men who look like me that they never were able to voice their opinions on how they feel. They were never able to voice their opinions on how they envision life. So you grow up angry. And once you grow up angry, you go out into a field where if you can't control your anger, they will control it for you. And now you're detained mentally. You're already detained because you don't have this opinion. You were never able to get out how you felt. So now someone's going to manage your anger for you, and they give you a sentence to go along with that. So this is why I want to help people who look like me and who want to bridge the gap. There are so many different things that we must overcome as a people. And I just feel like the way of old is just the way of old. And there's a new day, there's a new time, there's a new place. And I have this saying, and I've said it, and I've sparked, remarks from people. And I said, with certain traditions, I feel like certain traditions are just peer pressure from dead people. And I'm not saying it like there's like, oh, you have to. It's just, you have to think about that though, because we're so quick to compare something of the past when the past looks nothing like our future or our present day. So we keep saying, oh, well, and I get that with people when it comes to food. Well, my grandmother ate this and my grandfather ate, so I'm gonna be fine. Well, first of all, no, you're not, because that's the thing about comparison. People love to compare when the narrative fits their mold, but the moment it doesn't, like, oh, wait, no. Don't compare yourself to anyone that if you aren't doing the exact same thing what that person is doing, don't compare yourself. That's how you crash. You staying in somebody else's lane. That's somebody else's lane. And if you stay in your lane, I don't have to worry about what's going on to the right. I don't have to worry about what's going on to the left. I'm in my lane. And people don't understand that. They always, like, when people say, when I would see people, oh, how come my life isn't where this person's life is? Or how come I don't have the big house? And did you put the time in for that? Did you put the time in for that car? Oh, you didn't put the time in? Okay, well, that's just insanity. That's what that sounds like to me. You put in the same effort, but you want a different result. How? If you want change, act like it. That's all I can say. And the reason why I don't get as much pushback from people, because when they go and see where I came from, when they go and see where I've been on both sides of the spectrum. So they can't say, oh, but you don't know what it feels like. I don't. Oh, yes, I do. I know what it feels like to be in that dark place when you feel like you're by yourself, a million people around you, but you feel like you're still by yourself. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to use food as a coping mechanism when that's the only thing that's making you happy. I understand that. I understand what it feels like not to love yourself, and you put yourself in situations that you know that's going to drain you, but since you don't love yourself enough, you're going to put yourself in that situation anyway. I've been there. So before you sit up here and tell me about where I haven't gone, let me tell you about where you don't have to go.
Yes.
One day at a time. One day at a time. I'm going to get there. Right. I'm going to get there one day at a time. Let's go.
Let's go.
I feel it. I feel it. Let's go.
Let's go, guys.
It's
Come
time for
on, come
change. It's time
on.
for change. It's time for change.
Yes,
We can no longer stay the same. I don't work this hard to stay the same. I saw JD say, I was like, I don't. I was like, you know what? I don't. I
right.
don't work this hard to get the same results because, like I said, that is insanity. I don't want to work this hard to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Where's the happiness in that? I want to be happy. Life is
right.
about being happy and do what you love and love when you're doing it. That way, it doesn't feel like a job.
There you go. I love it. Hey. This is hot. This is hot. Deborah, I see you. Apostle Seawood, I see you. Jamone, David Franklin. Hey, big brother. Thanks for watching. Deatra says, I'm working and listening, but this show is fire. She says, love the enthusiasm. We need it. And Linda Jean says, teach, people will listen to you because you have been there and done that. She said, say that. And I totally agree with that. You know, it is, it's interesting how people a lot of times they'll relate to you a whole lot better when you're transparent and when, as you state, they see that you have been there. You broke down a few things. You've been there when, you know, you've been alone or been in a dark place or what have you, so you can understand that. And when people know that you have been there, then they are probably more inclined to listen to you, to hear you, and to see, you know, obviously he did something because here's some results, you know, of what he did. So this is wonderful. Hey, Angie.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Angie, we're talking, and for those of you, not just Angie, for those of you who are just now signing on, we're talking today with Mr. Patrick Johnson of ClearMind Fitness. And today he's talking about his journey, his fitness journey, if you will, his physical journey. And if you look at this young man, he is definitely fit now. He had a life altering situation back in 2017, where there were some things that were leading up to it, but 2017, I think, was the breaking point for him. And, you know, he used to weigh, he's already shared it, so I'm not telling his business. He used to weigh over 300 pounds. But you look at him today, that has changed. But the whole concept or the whole understanding of the show is his mindset had to change. And so this is what he's talking about on today, changing our habits, our diet, how we view our bodies and how we, go about in life. He just said it's time to make a change. So this is what we're talking about on today. And I have a few questions. Hey, Randy, thanks for joining us. Make sure you guys click that share button as you're coming in. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I would appreciate it. Not sure I won't mind if you share it. But yeah, share it, share and share alike, as they used to say. So let me ask you this now. And this is a young man, if you guys don't recognize or don't understand, but let me ask you, Patrick, you mentioned about all the things that you dealt with. You mentioned the 2017 situation, and that in itself is nothing to gloss over. But I must ask, if you hadn't had that particular health scare, that last one, that was the icing on the cake, the cherry on the top, what do you think would have happened if you hadn't had that last health scare?
Not to sound too drastic, but I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now.
Okay.
I mean, it really has to resonate with people that I was eating the same food as everyone else. And that's what I really want people to understand. And you're only as good as you feel, but the feeling can be misleading. Because if you don't know who you are, you don't know how you really feel. And the one thing that I always say is one thing, but it's always a plethora of things that I want people to understand, is that the only thing stronger than fear is curiosity. And as long as you're curious, that means you want to change something. So if you free yourself and you free yourself of your situation, you can overcome those fears. Because I say one thing I always say on my show is that my fears need me. I don't need them. So I take a fear, my meditation, that's what helps. Meditation has helped cultivate me and my mindset beyond the spectrum of belief that I initially thought. And I take a fear and I put it on the shelf. So I have a shelf full of fears that I just look at them because they have no power as long as they're detached from me. I'm no longer hosting the leeches. So once I let the leeches go, they can go feed on someone else because I love myself enough to not let anyone drain me. And that's what I tell everyone is that I love myself enough that I give myself all of the energy that I need and then some. My wife may need some energy, so I know work may drain her. The children may necessarily just drain. So if you're at 100 and I see you're at 80, 70, you're going down, I need to make sure that I can put my energy into, I need to put it into my two daughters. I just told you, anxiety doesn't have an age. Stress doesn't have an age. That's the misconception that we have is that, oh, you feel some type. No, that's a real thing. So I parent different. I talk and listen. It's always about the talking part, but it's more about listening. So when I sit there and I leave my house on 150 or 200%. So I know that when I leave out, the world may drain my family. So my job is to make sure I reciprocate the energy that I have because I'm always charged up because I love me and I give my body what it needs to succeed. Because if you can believe, you can achieve. And if you can achieve, you can repeat. That's what I always say. So it's like you can do these type of things. I couldn't get up and just run a marathon or run a half marathon just because I feel like it if I was treating my body the way that I used to. I couldn't do that. I woke up June 19th and just said, you know what? It's Black-teenth. Okay? I was like, I call it the Black-teenth. It's Juneteenth. But I was like, I feel blacker than black today. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go bike 100 miles. And I just did it. I just got up, was like, I'm going to go bike 100 miles today and nothing's going to stop. Yeah. I have that mindset. If you can control your mind, you can control your mindset. And I didn't have it at 300 pounds. I ain't have it at 250. I didn't have it at 200. Right now at 174, I have it. And it's going to stay right here with me because I love myself. I don't care if you're family or not. If you drain me, you must go. It is not necessarily saying that you have to go to a place. You just can't live rent-free in my mind. Like that's where I'm trying to help people understand is that these people, they come into your space and they're not even paying for where they at. If you got to pay your car, you got to pay for your car for parking, you paying for a space. I mean, you're occupying somebody's time, but you're paying while you're doing that. You're not parking your car downtown Chicago for free. So in the same instance, if you're going to drain me, then something must give. If my time is something, so my time is the money. Something has to give. So I can't continue to give you my time because now my house is lacking. And I want to make sure no matter in any course of action that you have a happy spouse, you have a happy house. So that's where I want to keep it. It ain't just about happy life, happy wife, happy life. No, it's about happy house, happy spouse. That's the misconception people have because that's the tradition thing again. I did it like, so-and-so ain't living right now. They're not here to make these type of decisions. They're not here to understand what's going on in front of them. The options that I have today isn't like 100 years ago, 200 years ago. So in most cases, I say in some, because I still follow traditions. I grew up in a spiritual house, to a religious house. So all these things from my foundation built, they're still there. It's just that I took on a different outlook on life. I had to go through some things to get through some things. So it's just like, you got to understand that it's a marathon and Rome wasn't built in a day. And as long as I keep that mindset, I'm like, you know what? I'll be all right. I can get up and run a half marathon on a Saturday because I felt like it. I can get up and just go ride 100 miles because I feel like it. I got up this morning, felt like doing stairs at Swallow Cliff, got up, did 12 of them, was like, you know what? I feel like running 4 miles. I'm going to run 4 miles. Could I have done that? Eating all the bad foods that I would eat? No. See, and that's another thing. People with some medications, people must take those medications in order to eat the way they want to eat. Because if you didn't need to take the gene, you could just eat whatever and you wouldn't have any. That's the body sending you message. If you eat something and instantly your blood pressure goes up, that's a message. That's just that you want to ignore that message because what you're doing feels good. So as long as you give somebody good information about a bad habit, they're going to keep doing it. Yeah. They don't find nothing wrong with it. So as long as you keep, I'm going to keep giving you, and that goes with anything in life. That goes in. If I keep telling you good, knowing darn well ain't none of what you're doing is good. But if I keep telling you that, you're going to keep believing that, and you're going to keep going with that. So then when the world gets you and you met with a little adversity, you're not going to know how to react to that. So like I say, I'm here to seek change.
I love it. I love it. That's going to segue me into my next question, but let me just read a couple of comments here. Zori says he's the same motivational person daily. He says this is Patrick on a regular. And then that's actually Zori Ante.
I did.
Yeah. And you know what? That is actually good to hear. It's good to know that, you're not just putting on the air when you come on your podcast or on here. It's good. It's good to know this is how you are all the time.
That's my brother. I love him.
Wonderful.
We have great conversations all the time.
Yeah, he's a very good brother. He really is. I'm biased too. I'm biased because we're related.
So good.
Right. I see you, Gwen. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Deborah Sawyer is, I think I mentioned your name already, Deborah. Thank you. But there was another question here. And I know it was from Angie, and I'm scrolling, Angie, to see if I can find it. Here it is. She says, would you say that the ingredients and the quality of food today is different from 50 years ago? Well, baby, he's not even 50 years old yet. But
but I can tell you about it, though. I can definitely tell you about it.
All right.
Yeah. Well, just to give you context, I love being transparent, but even if you look at the food module from the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s, you'll see that in the 70s, it became more of an instant everything. Everything became, it has to be quick, has to be on the go. So those traditional, there goes tradition again, those traditional 40s, 50s, 60s meals that you were getting, you no longer got those type of meals anymore, because you know what? It was more so of showing about the black man, and I have to say it like that, not being in households. And the women have to fend for themselves. So let's make sure that we can make things quick and easy. And we're amassing more and more people because the population is growing. So we must feed these people in some type of shape, form, or fashion. Even if you go back and look at the Dairy Act, there's something where FDR signed something into Congress where they had this hills of cheese, dairy that they had to just get rid of. And they kept that stuff over like 20, 30 years. And then all of a sudden you start seeing the release of all these dairy things, all these cheeses with all these, now we're using real cheese, when it's like, no, you're just using that old processed, messed up cheese from years ago. But just to get back to the point, in the 70s, you'll see that the ingredients in food changed drastically. You start getting fillers, start getting colors, dyes, all of these things that do not need to be in food. Just to give you an example, yellow 40 does not need to be in food. That possesses a 0.00009% percentage of petroleum. Now, if I set up here and gave you a little small cup, and I just said, hey, that cup you got, I said, hey, I'm only put just 0.9% poison in there, but you okay? Go ahead. You'll look at me like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But since it looks nice, you're gonna go ahead and indulge in it. And that's what I try to tell people, even when it comes to dairy. Dairy is a drug, and I'm just gonna call it a spade. In its purest form, in its cheesiest form, it has the same endorphin release you get from you doing drugs. You get the same endorphin release in cheese. It has the casomorphins. It has all of these are things that you can look up. Even if you look up with the Common Sense Act, this goes to the ingredients. I'm trying to give you a segue to the ingredients, because if you look at the Congress, I want to say it's the 110th or 111th Congress. If you look at that, and it's the Common Sense Act stating that you cannot sue any food restaurant, any movie theater, you cannot sue them for what happens to you if you consume their food. You just can't, because the whole reason for the law is called common sense. So if you don't have the common sense, because if you don't control this, everything that seems so common is not really common, because you don't control this narrative up here. So you're going about life thinking that it's okay, and you just steady constantly eating all these fillers, eating all of these chemicals. And that's what I try to tell people, is that you can eat the meat, but if I were to eat meat, it'd be 3 years next month since I had any meat, and I'm not going back to it. But if I were to eat meat, the only way that I would eat meat is at a farmer's market. The only way. There's no way I will go to a supermarket and say, oh yeah, I want to go get the meat from here. No, it's not happening. I would go to a farmer's market, build a rapport with the person that's growing my food that I can actually sit and talk to. I can sit up and have a conversation because, like I told you, if we can build together, we can grow. And if we can grow, we can go places we never went. So I can have this conversation with my farmer's market representative, and we can go forth from there. But I'm not going to eat foods that I know, those chemicals that are being produced in cows and pigs, right? I want to give you something real quick. Pigs aren't disgusting, right? And I'm saying this for a reason.
Okay.
It's gonna get a little deep for a second. I just want everybody just to take their mind just real quick, because when you are told something is bad for you without doing the research yourself, a lot of times you can be misled in many facets of life, right? Mm-hmm. Here I'm talking about a pig. When you think of a pig, you think of a pig being a slop. You're thinking about a pig being disgusting. You're thinking about a pig just being dirty, stinky, and nasty, right? But in all actuality, a pig is one of the cleanest, most brightest animals on the planet. But you know why? The pig has been placed in an area deemed unfit for other animals. But it's just so necessary to put just this one particular animal, to put him somewhere and tell him that he's not something, knowing all in all that he is. Because a pig is a part of the hippopotamus family, right? So if you put this pig back in the wild with his cousins, he'll act like his cousins. But if you keep him where he's at and tell him, you feed him lies, you keep him as the crab in the barrel, you tell him that the pigs are against him, other pigs are going against him, they don't mean him no good, then he's going to have that mindset and he's going to stay placed right where you have him. Hence, Black people, a project is a project. If you keep me where I'm at and I just soak and I believe everything that's around me and I don't control this, I'm going to stay where you got me at. It's a systemic problem. We are the pigs. You understand what I'm saying? The pig is a part of the hippopotamus family. Go back out in the wild. Go from where you were. Go back home. Because we are not what they say we are. But yet and still, if we can come together, we can grow. And if we can grow, we can go places we never been before. Let's go. I try to tell you, let's go. Come on, ANet, let's go. Let's go.
I'm coming. Zori says you're tuned up.
Man, I just feel it deep down inside, because there's a misconception with people that look like me. They just been told the wrong things for so long. And it's just time.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's been rehearsed, like you said, over and over and over again. And so then they believe it. And we have to be careful of that. Thank you so much for that. Was a wonderful analogy. It really was. Very powerful. Hey, buddy, I see you. Thanks for watching. This is so deep, but actually it'll still help me segue into my next question. Now, you started ClearMind Fitness. Now, let me actually preface this by saying you mentioned earlier, or a couple of times throughout this broadcast, of how you want to help those that look like you. And how did ClearMind come across? Did you, because you could have just picked up this ball and just kept running for Patrick, you know, maybe you and your 4 and no more, if you will.
Yeah. Okay, I like that.
But you decided that you wanted to reach out. You wanted to help others. You wanted to, whatever knowledge that you received, you want to, give this out, disseminate it, if you will. You want to encourage others to change. Is that how ClearMind came to be, ClearMind Fitness? Or was this just an extension of what you were doing? Tell us about the development of ClearMind Fitness.
That's good. I'm glad you actually asked that. It all started with myself first. When I asked God about how to heal, and he told me healthy self, it was more so just about Patrick. And it was just about, you have to fix you first in order to help manifest in other people. So it started off with me first. And once I had the concept of happiness and what it really looked like, I was able to formulate a mindset with a foundation so strong that no cracks are going to deter the narrative even if I have a moment of weakness, even if I have a moment of no self-love, because it's always about the foundation at the end of the day. And once I attain that, my mother always, I used to give you, my mom always used to say, she was always a giving person. She still is. She's just giving. And I used to ask her all the time, like, Mom, why do you always give all your stuff away? We would go to church, we would be out in the street, and she always bought nice things, always, still does, purses and clothes. And I'm like, Mom, why do you do that? I'm like, man, stuff costs a lot of money, you know, because I had that selfish mindset. I grew up as a selfish person. And she was like, Patrick, you know, nothing can come to a closed hand and nothing can leave it. So she was like, I always keep my hands open. She was like, because if my hand stays open, my blessings never stop. So if I keep giving blessings, I'll keep receiving blessings. Because I was the type of person I want to have my hand closed. I was like, oh, no. I want to hold on to what I got. And I ended up with less than what I started out with. So ClearMind Fitness started as myself, but it was like, no, you have a gift. You need to give it to the world. Manifest what you have to the world. You've asked God to finally show you the way. So here's the baton, and don't stop running. Hence why I run. Don't stop until the job is done, basically. And for me, the job is every day. So when I wake up in the morning time, when my 2 feet hit the floor, the first 2 words I say is, let's go. I really do. I really wake up every day. And I guess I'm known for that, but I really do. I wake up, I thank the universe, I thank God, and I say, let's go. But let's go is the first thing I say. And I look out the window, I give my blessings to God. I thank him for bringing me where I am and thus far and where I'm going to go. So, but it's all about helping everyone. I get a joy out of seeing someone else smile. I get a joy out of that. I feel like that parent at Christmas time when the kids open up the gifts and somebody tells me like, hey man, I just went and took this test that I said I wasn't going to do. Or, hey man, I just ran an extra mile today. Like that brings me joy. And it really hit me when people started to tell me that they were following my story daily. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't know how to do that. They're like, you're doing it. You don't realize, but I'm eating different because of you. I'm acting different because of you. And I'm like, you know what? I want to do this every day. I want to help the person who feels like they don't love themselves enough. I want to help them. Even the person that's on that level, they may be on level 67. Remember level 67? They may be on there, but they may have stayed at level 67 because they might have gotten with someone else that's on level 37. And they didn't have that mindset to bring them to 67. So if I can help bring them to 67 and they on 67 together, now they can go to 100 and thus more. Like it's all about how you view things. And we view things in a way for so long is that if it doesn't fit our narrative, then we stray away from it. In all actuality, it's like, no, stay true to the process. And once you heal, trust it. That's the only way that you're going to move forward. You have to trust. It's like, I can trust the process once I've healed. If you haven't healed, you can say, I'm trusting the process all day, but you have to heal those wounds. Those wounds are still there. And hence the reason why I said I just got older with those insecurities. I didn't change. I didn't have anyone to talk to about those things. It just happened. And when life just happens to you, you just try to learn to adjust. But adjusting can look different for everybody. Hence the reason why I don't compare my life to others anymore. Because I didn't do what they did to get to where they're at. And they're not doing what I'm doing to go where I want to go. So why am I going to continue to compare myself with someone who isn't doing half the work that I'm doing, vice versa? I'm not doing what they're doing in their field, respectively. So why am I going to get mad and upset when I see the results of their hard work and their consistent dedication? Why am I going to let that affect me? You are welcoming uncertainty into your household. You are letting uncertainty and just a ill feeling inside your mind, and now it's living there for free. You're not even making them pay tax. Like they just there. It's because they've been staying there for years now. They ain't paying property tax. They ain't paying a light bill. They aren't paying anything, but you're losing up here when you should be gaining in here. I'm trying to learn to love. You start loving yourself. You start understanding that the mental is going to come right with it. It comes with the physical. But some people just aren't there yet, and it's okay. We're human. That's the beauty of it. So it's about helping everyone together. So ClearMind Fitness is here to stay. It ain't going nowhere. I'm here. Okay. Like I'm here.
He's here. And
I'm here. Let's go.
He's here because you all are here and he wants to help you. I love this. They're saying, hey, Theotis, good to see you, brother. Thanks for watching. He says, I love that message. Let's go run the race and win the race. And he said, there is power in this message that you're giving. Pastor Jerome Jackson, I see you over here on my watch party. And Ben Sims, how are you, big brother? Glad to see you guys. And Dwayne Nesbitt, Ernest Brooks, we appreciate you guys for watching. If you're just not coming in, go ahead, click that share button. Click the share button. We're talking today with Mr. Patrick Johnson. Probably put some respect on that. Mr. Patrick Johnson.
Let's go.
ClearMind Fitness. Let's go. He says, let's go. Talking about his journey and encouraging others. ClearMind Fitness was created so that he can help someone else as well, make that metamorphosis, if you will, make that change. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, and you're doing real good because you're setting me up so well to segue into my next questions. But let me ask you about this psychological aspect of this change, how it has affected you. We'll start with you first and foremost, psychologically. You mentioned about the places that you were in before mentally, and the changes that you had to make, how you had to reset your mind. Now, he sounds awesome on here today. I'm gonna tell you this, okay? Now, a lot of times when we go through and we make changes, it's not always easy. It may not be a bed of roses. He even mentioned about when he first started running, he was still over 300 pounds at that time. I'm sure your body was probably like, dude, what are you doing?
Exactly. That's exactly how I went.
Right. So talk to us about the psychological effects or aspects of even making a change, wanting to make the change, and then making the change, and where you are now mentally.
Okay, well, just like I said, 2013 was a darker time for numerous reasons. Just one, food was my coping mechanism. So when it came to food, and I started studying what I was eating and the effects of what I was eating, muscle memory, as far as even what goes on in your mind, it starts to deteriorate after a while, at a certain time. And to know that I only went to food because food never judged me, people did. So I went with it felt comfortable. I went with what felt comfortable to me, and food was always that. I mean, the endorphin release that would happen when I had food was something unimaginable. And it's hard even talking about that. And because people don't look at it like that. They just look at it as if, oh, that's a gluttonous thing to do. You're just overeating. And when you have problems and you don't know how to deal with things, you go to an outlet. And smoking cigarettes was one of my outlets too. And when I think about it now, I'm just like, oh my gosh, man. Like I was for like 6 years, what was it, like 6? I want to say 6 years. I smoked cigarettes, and then people didn't know. They were like, wait a minute, what? I was like, yeah, I wasn't proud about that. I hid that so well. Well, I thought I did in a lot of cases, but I hid it because it was embarrassing. And the cigarettes kept me in a deep depression because I felt like it had a hold on me because I always felt like I had to be doing it. Always. And I'm like, this isn't how I want to live. So trying to fit into society is where I fell short. And that's when the darkness came. And I was just in that phase where back from 2008 when I got shot. It's because when I got shot, I would have nightmares, just all the time for like a year and a half, 2 years. And it was like, I wasn't able to voice those things to people because once you have an issue, people get tired of hearing about your issue after a while. They're like, okay, build a bridge, get over it. Like, I don't want to hear about it anymore. So you're stuck. So I started amassing all this weight in 2010, 2011. I just got big, and I was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I kept telling myself, because I was a great procrastinator. And that's the thing about procrastination. People who procrastinate normally do it because they know what they can do. They know they can get it done. So they be like, I know I can do it, so you wait. But what if that time doesn't come? And the thing that you procrastinated on was something that could have saved your life. So you need to, just take a step back at certain times, because we move so fast and so loose, because you think you have the freedom of your body, but you don't have your mind. But that's another story. But we move so loose and so fancy free that we don't think these things bother us. And if you never address your childhood issues, you're going to grow up with those issues as an adult. And mentally, meditation is what helped me build the bridge from the ages that I never dealt with the issues with. So I got to go back to talk to 7-year-old Patrick, 8-year-old Patrick, 11-year-old Patrick, and talk to him. He's on the stage. I'm in the audience. It's just me and him. I'm talking to him. He's listening to me. And what he's telling me is everything that I need to be doing right now. And he's saying, don't give up on the dream that I have right now, because that was his dream. That was 7-year-old Patrick's dream. That was 11-year-old Patrick's dream. So I'm telling him, like, hey, I'm working on it. I'm trying to get there. He's like, you're not working hard enough. Kids tell the honest truth, the most brutal truth. So when I get to go back, I get to talk to that Patrick helps the Patrick you see today and everything that I do now. So the mental problems that I felt like I was having, it was just a misunderstanding, because I didn't get a chance to talk to anyone about those type of things when I wanted to. It was when someone else was ready to have the conversation and I hadn't got all my thoughts together. So when you're being forced into a box, you don't know where you're going. And the moment you get out that box, you're met with adversity that you've never seen before. You never even spoke about. That's draining. So if you don't have that, and you only have people who talk to you and they don't listen to you, you're affected. Flat out. And you go to a place, whether you want to or not, because you really don't know how you got there. And especially if you only make excuses for why you're at where you're at. It's always the why me? Well, why not you? Let's figure out how we got here in the first place. And that's what meditation helped me. So meditation has helped me understand who I really am. So all in all, it's a deep thing, and it's something that people who look like me, they want to talk about these things. And that's why I'm here. I'm here for a reason. And God has let me know that in so many different ways. I'm just happy to be a beacon that people can finally see. That's where I'm at with life, and that's why I'm happy. I'm happy. I am legit happy. I have a child to be born next Tuesday, right? And I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, so we just to even know that, I'm just in a different space. So when this child comes into this world, I want them to know that love looks different this time around. It just does. And I'm not going to project my fears onto my children now, the new one to come. And I think that's where we fall short in certain instances, not all, but we fall short when we project our fears onto people who have they have the capability to do what we can and then some. But if we project fears onto them, then they won't know how to go about what initially got them to that place initially.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I know my answers might be a little long, but
No,
I'm
but
like,
hitting it on you hitting it right on the head. I mean, like you said, when you go back and you talk to your younger self and because you won't know where you're going until you really recognize and understand where you've been. Um, and coming to grips with that. You know, a lot of times I think some people have a problem with coming to grips of what happened when they were younger, and or they may not relate what they're dealing with now to what happened when they were younger. It's a lot of owning up. It's a lot of dealing. I mean, just head on dealing with what happened to you back when you were 7 and 11, or your mindset back then, if you will. It's key. It's key to getting to that healthy place. It's definitely key to recognize that, deal with it head on. And that was a perfect. I said all that to say that was perfect, perfect response. So thank you for that. Theodis is on here. He is saying you are really encouraging him. Theodis, I know this is nothing but the Lord to have you to come on to listen to this show on today. His comments here, he says, yes, my brother, show us brothers who are lost the way back to salvation. You're helping him to grow back to the truth.
Amen. I appreciate that.
His other comment, to me. Okay, thank you, my sister, for this, because God chose you to bring me back. That's good that you're giving it, because we need it not to be watered down. Yeah, you got to hit stuff head on. You got to hit it head on. And I always say, one thing that we've been good at, and I'm just gonna say it, in the Black community, we can sweep some stuff under a rug in a minute. Sweep it. That bothered me. Nope, it's going under the rug. That bothered me. Nope, but it's going under the rug. Because once you understand and know that that right there is what kind of got me off a little bit, then guess what? You have to deal with it at that point. And so people a lot of times don't want to deal with things. They don't want to recognize and own up to it. Because at that point, the onus is on you to deal with it. And so these are the things. And I mean, you all know me here at Mind, Body, and Soul. The show is based on psychology and spiritual aspects of everyday life. And Patrick just came just walking all up in it on today. But he's so on point. Zori says you are walking into your purpose. I would agree too. There's a statement here from Buddy Gill. He says he's reminded of a statement that he heard years ago. He said, it's hard to stop a man or woman who refuses to quit. And then he did at the bottom, let's go.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. I love it. Yeah. I love that, man. You got to keep that.
Yeah, you got to keep it. It's so important to keep going. Because like you said, I think you mentioned this a little earlier, about when you're talking about food and eating food. You said you took your time and ate that food back then, Oh,
if I told you if I told you my daily, weekly food, you know what? Since I'm transparent and that's just what I do. Now this is so bad. Ooh, this is so bad. But you know what? It's gotta be said. It's just gotta be said. Okay. So Monday through Friday, I would go to McDonald's. I would get 2 sausage McGriddles, 3 hash browns, a large Sprite with no ice every single morning, Monday through Friday. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would go to Portillo's every Tuesday and Thursday. I would get a big beef, large fry, and if I felt special, I get a cake shake. I know that's just what I did. I told you, people judge me, not food. So that's why I did that. Because if I was to do that around people, look at him. Oh, dang, big boy. You know how many times I heard that? I've heard dang, big boy all my life. So it was just like, man, I'm about to eat. So that's what I did. I even got a loyalty program from Portillo's before they had a loyalty program. I went there every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm telling you, every Tuesday and Thursday, I was at Portillo's. And on the weekends, I would go to the spot by my house. I would get a 3-meat skillet where I would get country sausage, bacon with a side of bacon and pancakes. It was the 3-meat skillet. I'm telling you, that's just what I did. And then sometimes I would get like the sausage gravy to go on top of the 3-meat skillet. Like, it was bad. it was bad. And then that's why, like, I'm trying to tell you, I ate the same food that everybody did. I was gluttonous when I did it. It's still the same food though. So yeah, I've been there, and I would eat terribly. I would go to this spot by my house called Taco Junior, and they make deep fried burritos. Oh, I used to, yeah. See, just even you making that deep fried burrito would be as big as my forearm, and I'd be sitting up there. And this is when I knew, and that this is when this is my last deep fried burrito. This is my last one. I go up there. No, I call in. I call into the phone. Like, hello. He was like, hey, Patricio. I was like, wait a minute, man. You're not supposed to know my name while I'm calling into the restaurant, man. And he's so Patrick. Patricio is Spanish. I said, yeah, man. He said, hey, I already know. He's like, you want the beef fried burrito, beef, chicken, steak, and beef, chicken, and steak. And I was just like, yeah, I do, with beans, rice, jalapenos, and cilantro, and yeah, I want all that. I get there, and I was like, you know what? Put some gyro meat in there too, man. Put some gyro meat in there for me. So I had gyro meat, beef, chicken, steak. I had like 4 different, almost 5 meats in there. And my heart was hurting so bad. This is November 2017. I'm like, this something just not right. And then that's when I was like, Patrick, give it up. I'm like, give it up. I'm like, because you're gonna end up right back in the hospital again. And I did it right before Thanksgiving. And everybody was like, oh, you crazy. You're going to do it right before Thanksgiving? And I did, but I started keeping track. December 1st, I was like, that was it. So I started the vegetarian lifestyle first. I did that for 8 months. So from January of 2018 to August of 2018, I inherited the vegetarian lifestyle. And I was like, I lost 100 pounds just being a vegetarian. So that 100 pounds, I lost 100 pounds in 8 months. And people were like, how in the world? I just ran. I thought I was like the Black Forrest Gump or something. Like, I just kept running. And I was like, I'm just going to keep on running. I was like, I don't know what's going on. But I said, but running feels good. But anyway, so I would feel good when I did it. So I was just like, man, I was like, you know what? I think I could be vegan. And all of a sudden I was like, I don't want to eat animals anymore anyway. So, and then, people had a misconception, like, if you go vegan, you're going to look sick and da-da-da-da. Well, I don't think I do. And I think a lot of people, once you understand how to treat your body and give it what it needs to succeed, you won't, like, I sleep 4 or 5 hours a day. When I was eating all those processed food, the fried foods, the meats and all that, I was always tired. I had sleep apnea. Like, sleep apnea is a real thing. Like, I almost died in my sleep plenty of times. Went to a sleep study, told me that I woke up 145 times within the hours of me being asleep. Now, people think about that and say, oh, man, you didn't wake up. Yes, your mind wakes up 145 times, not your body. But if a person that sleeps with a CPAP, trust me, they still wake up tired. Sleep apnea does that to you because what you're doing is shutting your body organs down or making them work so hard that they make you tired, itis, that you instantly get sleepy and everything becomes slower. And it's just like, I tell people, you only get one body. But you like treat your body like a car, right? When people take their cars to the car doctor, they do everything to make sure they don't have to go back to this car doctor because it costs, right? When it comes to their body and the doctor tells them what to do, they're like, I'm gonna do it the way I see fit. And you think you're your own doctor when the doctor is trying to tell you, you need to give up some of the things that you do that got you to this point. People don't understand that. No, they understand it. They don't want to understand that. They just want to be told. They want to be around like-minded people in every facet of life. I want to be around like-minded people, but still tell me when I'm being human. I'm not perfect. So if I'm around a like-minded person, they'll try to justify my wrongdoing. Is if I'm doing wrong, don't justify it for me because people love good information about a bad habit. So if this is what I'm doing, I don't see nothing wrong with it. Give you an example. I had a coworker tell me something about, he was talking about bacon. And I was like, hey, man, we probably shouldn't eat as much bacon, doing it. He's like, hey, man. He said, you're not a doctor. I don't want to hear about all this vegan stuff, vegan this, vegan that. And I was like, all right, cool. I backed off. The other coworker walks in the room and said something about bacon. He was like, see, so-and-so gets it. I was like, but you're not a doctor either. He was like, exactly. So the thing is that if as long as I'm telling you something that you want to hear, you don't see nothing wrong with it. But the moment somebody else gives you a different perspective, you're like, yeah, exactly. So that's why I be trying to tell people, like, hey, man, you do what you want to do. I can lead you to the water. You know what I'm saying? I can lead you to that water, you know, but it's like, if you want to drink with me, we can win together. Because if we can win together, we can grow together. If we can grow together, we can build it. We can go places we never been before. I'm trying to tell y'all, let's go. I told you.
He told y'all. Did y'all hear him?
Man,
Woo!
they don't hear me out there. That's what they don't hear me out there.
Right. I think they hear you. If they don't hear you, I hear you.
Man.
Tiffany, I see you. Thanks for watching. Buddy Gill says, man, Patrick, you all in my stomach with those old bad habits.
It's the truth. We got to hear it.
I have to ask you a question, though. You're talking about that last burrito. Was that last burrito after that hospital scare? After that surgery?
Yep.
Oh, my.
Yep. I tried it one more time. I said, I just want to see, because we don't believe the stove is hot. Like, I knew the stove was hot. And I'm still saying, and I was like, because after that, I went to, I was getting my hair cut, and my barber was like, hey, man, let's go get some food. And I ended up getting like a 6-piece wing or something. And the first bite, this is after I ate the burrito, but the first bite I had, the bone just withered away. And it dropped down on my plate, and I was like, that's it. I said, I don't need any more messages. I don't need any more messages that I'm not supposed to be eating this type of, the bone, you heard the word, I said, it withered away. Like the bone just in my hand turned into like Avenger dust or something. Like I was like, what is this? It just went away. And I was like, yeah, that's it. And I haven't had any meat since then.
Wow. So it sounds like you pretty much kind of went cold turkey as far as that meat is concerned.
Oh, yeah.
Now, just like Buddy was saying earlier about, being determined, that's something you definitely have to do. And, so you have to make a conscious effort, decision, if you will, of what to do, because especially if it's a decision between, life and death, your health is definitely important. And you have to keep these things in mind. Maysola says, I hear you. Now let's go. I love it, Maysola. Yes.
I want everybody saying it. Let's go.
They're hopping on it. And this is definitely a message that we have to take in for ourselves. I see your message, Theodis. He said this message is food for his soul. There's I was going to mention, I'm sorry. My husband, maybe about, I don't know how long it's been now. Probably 10 years or more. He actually did a metamorphosis. He made a change in his diet and exercise. He's an avid bike rider now. And I could probably say he was probably over 300 pounds. And he started noticing different loved ones, and I don't want to call their names, that actually had passed away. One thing he said to me, he said, I will not go to my grave by the way of my mouth. I'm not going to do it. And here's a man who used to, actually, when we were dating, he would pick me up from downtown, and one of our first stops was either Burger King or McDonald's. And he would get, if it was McDonald's, he would get the 2 Big Macs. I'm telling off on him a little bit, but he's made a change. And this was years ago. This was over 20-some years ago when this happened. Yeah. But what he did, he would have the 2 Big Macs and then whatever sides with it or whatever. And this was kind of like faithful when he would pick me up when we were dating. So after a while, I said, you know what? Why don't you just maybe get some fruit or something? Or why don't you try? And I would try to, initiate slowly, he would kind of do it or whatever, but he hadn't totally changed. And again, it wasn't until after this one loved one that passed away, very close to him, that changed his mindset. And he's vegan now,
Oh, man, let's go.
He loves, he will get out on that bike in a minute and just ride into the wind.
I feel him on that.
Right. 100 miles is nothing for him, but again, he had to change that mindset. And I'm grateful that he did, because he is definitely the better for it health wise. Let's see. Zori says, oh, now Zori, now see, I can only do that, Zori, I'll tell you. He says he looks back at some of the older videos from church and saw the bigger Elder Harris. And didn't realize they used to be a big guy. Yeah, he was huge. He was huge, if you will. Zori had asked a question earlier about pictures, and I tried to show the pictures that were on your website, the one when you were a little heavier than you are now. I don't know if you have any more pictures somewhere else. Zori was saying if you wanted to show those.
I'm gonna be posting up some pictures very, very soon.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be posting up, because and to even think about it, I don't even that was just God then telling me to do that as well, because I didn't want to take pictures of myself at that weight, and I really didn't. I was like, why am I doing this? And he'd be like, no, take this picture. It's gonna help you later. That was it. And I would just take it because I look at it now, I'm like, oh. Like, man, like that's, whoo, like that is different. And I was taking pictures, never posting them because I didn't want to post those. But yeah, I was taking pictures, and now it works now, because people look at me now and be like, what? Like,
right.
How did you do it?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's interesting, because I'm gonna, let me put it back up. I don't know if they were seeing it when you were talking. Now this is on his website, and on the left side. Now, how much did you weigh? Do you recall roughly?
I was about 302. I was about 302, 303 around that size on the left.
Okay, so on the left side you're about 302, and then this is pretty much like the new you.
That's 2019, because I'm actually heavier in that pic. I'm not heavier than the left, but like than I am present day. That's about 188. I was about 180, 190 pounds on that picture on the right.
Wow. That's deep.
Yeah.
You guys need to go to clearmindfitness.com and read his story. It is definitely, I mean, he told, a lot of it on today, but it's definitely something you need to check out. I love this first line here. Patrick has a problem, but he doesn't know how to address it. He doesn't know how to address it. And that, that's, a lot of what we were talking about on today. He mentioned about the habits, the horrible habits that he had with the smoking and the other vices that he, partook in, if you will. But he made the change. And so this is what in case you're just now joining us, this is what we are talking about on today. You can make that change. You can make that change. Let's
Definitely
see.
Can.
Buddy says here, the truth is most of us won't make these dietary changes until we have some sort of health scare. Yeah, I agree. And I had asked you about that earlier, remember? And then he also says here, my moment was the doctor talking to me about diabetes and high blood pressure leading to a stroke. Suddenly, we can easily do without those things, which we shouldn't have. Yeah, it will definitely bring everything full circle.
It'll bring it so full circle, because just my 2 doctor visits, because I just can't give you about those, because I just went last week and I hadn't been all this year because everything that's been going on. But when I went back the very first time, after just even losing the first couple pounds and everything like that, the doctor was like, man, took my blood pressure was like 110/74. He's like, how's your blood pressure even better than average? I'm like, hey, you said healthy self, so heal thyself is what happens. And so just this last week, I went to the doctor just for a normal checkup, because I was like, I want to get checked out or whatever. And the nurse, she looks at my stat sheet. She's looking at it. She doesn't say anything. Mind you, she didn't say anything. She looked at it, looked at me, looked back at the chart, and closed it. So we go into the room, and she's like, can I ask you something? And I was like, yeah, go ahead. She was like, you lost a lot of weight, didn't you? And I was like, yeah, I did. Because my chart, I told you, my chart says 302, 303. And I stepped on, then I was 175 last week. And she's like, oh, okay. So then like 3 other nurses came around, and they started listening to me say how I lost 100 pounds. And they were just amazed, and I'm still amazed, because I didn't think I could do it. I projected my own fear to myself. It was like, oh, you can't do it. And it was like, hey, but I don't take any medication. So just make sure that, because my doctor, and when my doctor told me last week, as I said last week on my podcast, when he told me, he was like, Patrick, he said, man, I take my hat off to you. Not only did you make a change, but he's like, damn it, man. He's like, you've been consistent. And I was like, thank you. Because he kept telling me that he was going to put me on high blood pressure pills. He had told me, because in my mind, I was always told, like my dad always say, once you've been on high blood pressure pills, you can't get off. You know, you've been on them for all your life. That's the misconception that you have that keeps you bound to where you're at instead of expounding upon where you want to go. It's like, no, I want to go somewhere else. But I take no medication, so I didn't take any of the I told you, I ripped up all 5 medications, threw them away. And when he asked me last week, he was like, I know, I haven't prescribed you anything. He was like, but how do you feel? So when all my numbers came back, he called me. He was like, I'm going to tell you this. He said, you are an amazing individual. He said, I just have to say that. He said, because you made a change with your life and you did it naturally. He said, you didn't try to get referred to a doctor for your weight. You didn't try to get referred to just fixing. He said, you fixed yourself. He said, and I can't help but commend you for that. And by him even just saying that, I was taken aback by it. I was shocked. So I really do feel good that I take no medication. And I don't say it to brag. I say it because it makes me feel good, because I know that the body is the most smartest thing on the planet, and it will give you what you need to succeed. It's a natural rehab. It's natural. Your body produces so many different amenities. It's an amenity when it comes to your body. Like, these things just happen, and then as long as you feed it what it needs, it'll give you what you need. You know, if you were to pour sugar into a gas tank, after a while, it's gonna stop working. Something is not gonna work right. It's like, that's what you do to your body, and then you wonder why your body isn't working as it used to. You know, the guy that I was running with this morning, he's 46 years old and in shape. I'm talking about, this guy bikes and does marathons, and you can't tell. Looks like me and everything, and he's just in shape. So I don't like excuses. Excuses, you know, like, there's another thing. My mom is a big effect on my life. It's like my father is, where they just have these sayings. You know, my mom used to burn me up when she said it to me as a kid, because I didn't like it. Because I was just like, you're right. I don't want you to be right. But since you're right, you're right. But she would always say there are intentions and there are results. Everything else is an excuse. So if your intent was to do good, but the result is that you didn't do it. So now you figure out, I got it. Nope. That's an excuse. There are intentions and there are results. My intent was to lose the weight. The result is that I made it happen. Okay? And in most cases, some people just say, I had an intent. This is why. No. Mm-mm.
Love it.
You can no longer reside in where you're at. You are no longer a product of your environment. You are more so of a product of your mindset. And your mindset shows in what you're carrying. And if you don't manifest what you're carrying, somebody can take that away from you. That's what you got to preserve, the self-love. And if you give yourself the self-love, no one can take it from you. That's what's most important. Loving yourself. Self-love.
Yeah. Self-love. Yeah.
People don't want you. They want what you're carrying.
Okay. And you got to have self-love to make these changes. Let me see here. Brandon, to retype what you said, there are intentions and there are results. Buddy says it's more of mental education about our health and foods that we eat rather than a mental fight or bondage. All right. And Brandy says she just visited the website. She said this is right up her alley and comes at the perfect time. Folks aren't really respecting her weight loss hustle, and I need some like-minded motivation / affirmation. Yes, I love it.
Go.
I love it. Well, this was perfect. Maysola, you have another comment here. Oh, I'm sorry. Zori had a comment first. Zori says, buddy, I recently had a health scare and have made some changes ever since. Yeah, it'll make you do that. It really will. Maysola says, I only looked in the mirror that showed my neck and up. I have food as my friend. Teach Patrick. That's good. Okay, Maysola. She's learning is what she's saying on today. Danny Mackey Sr., thanks for watching. We appreciate you and all of those that have joined in. We're talking to, hey, Kmetris, thanks for coming back in. We're talking to Patrick Johnson, ClearMind Fitness. Boy, this has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation on today. I think what I want to do, Patrick, we have a spoken word artist that normally pens a spoken word for our shows on a weekly basis. And I have one prepared to, let's see, play here. I want you to take a listen to this and let me know what you think. You guys that are here watching and listening, let me know what you think as well. We're going to set this up. Elder Kevin McGee of Connections he has a show entitled Connections on Intellectual Radio.
Oh, yeah. It's my time to get fit. Get it in. Pandemic blues grew into pandemic gain. So now it's time to change and switch up the game. I'm going to be better than I was before. Stronger. Faster. But before that can happen, I've got to get fit in my mind, because if I never exercise my mental, then how can I exercise my body? You have to understand that your mind will fight your every effort to improve your health and challenge every fitness goal that you make. So first and foremost, you must clear your mind. Clear your mind. Have a clear mind. Wipe it clean, and then train it to accept the changes that you want to bring about. Your body responds to whatever's in your mind. So if you want to be fit, get fit in your mind. Let your mind see the end game so that you can have a new beginning.
All right, all right. Yes, thank you, Elder McGee. That was it. That was it. You were on it today. What'd you think about that, Patrick?
Oh, that was nice. And that's real.
Yeah, it's definitely real. All right, that's good stuff here. Let me see other comments. Brandy says, I can relate to that neck and up only mirror check. She said that.
I was there. I only did them type of pictures too.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's you. I mean, you know how you want to look, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And how you want to present yourself. But then you look in that mirror, you be like, I need to change this. With this change that you've made, Patrick, can we talk just a little bit, maybe personal, how that change in itself has affected maybe your own family, your lifestyle? You kind of talked about that a little bit. Maybe we could start with your family, how your change.
Yeah. Just off of my daughters had a lot to do with my change as well. My oldest, she's 9. Her name is Ayana, and she, when I first was like thinking about losing weight and things like that, I remember running in my parents' backyard, chasing her around the pool, and I remember just being like gassed. Like it was like maybe 1.5 times of running around, and I remember asking like, "Daddy, why are you so tired?" I was like, "I'm like, Daddy, big baby, you know, hey, I don't know what to do," and it just resonated in me that day to just change something. And then my other daughter, by that time she was born, and now I'm like, I want to change something up. And then the health problems came. I'm like, you know what? It's bigger than me. It's so much bigger than me, and I have people who count on me. And if I have people who count on me and I'm counting myself out, who else is there to be counted on? So it was like, they count on me, so I can't count myself out.
Yeah.
When I started, because it'll be 2 years for my wife and my daughter, it'll be 2 years for them being vegan as well. So, and my daughters are 6 and 9, and Ayana and Farrah, and they both decided to have a vegan lifestyle on their own. And that goes back to my parenting skills. I don't push my narrative off on them. I rather talk to them and give them options on what to do and how to go about those type of things, especially by having girls. By being a girl dad, I'm very, very cautious in the way that I formulate my words with them. And I want them to understand that even coming from a man, words matter. And even now, they'll just know that there's a way to be talked to so you can recognize on where you want to reside in any part in that person's life or in any existence of your being. I want to make it comfortable. My wife is also vegan. She wanted to help attribute to this lifestyle. So she was like, you know what? Since you're doing it, you're so avid about it, like you have become, because now the energy in the house changed. We were no longer mad like that. Like those foods have a hold on you, and you are eating foods. You are eating feelings. Put it to you like that. And when you look at it like that, and people don't look at it like that, it's like, yeah, you are eating traumatizations. You are eating depression. You're eating these things. It just looks nice because it's been put together and formed to make it look like it's, this nice thing. In all actuality, it's killing you, but it's doing it with a smile. And you just, if you look at a person who has a drug problem, a very serious drug problem, over time, the body takes its newest form, and it doesn't look as promising as it used to. That's the same thing happening to your body on the inside. So, because if you could see what's happening on the inside, you would want to change the outside. But you can't see what's going on the inside, so you're thinking that it's fine. In all actuality, you've been given all these messages: heart problems, colonoscopy issues, like myself, hypertension. All of these things, you think about it, you continually to eat. All medicines do is just slow the disease down that you're eventually going to actually attain. You're going to get these certain diseases if you continue to eat the food that's helping put it there in the first place. Just to give you context here, there's a study going on right now with nutritionists, and I'm working with one, that there are foods in the Atlantic Ocean and foods in the Pacific Ocean that people are getting right now. You just so you know, just think about all in the past few months, the slew of seafood that's just been thrown to every little market, there's a study going on right now that the upper class people of higher means are getting food out of the Pacific Ocean, and people of middle class means, and people like myself, we're getting food out of the Atlantic Ocean. So there's an imbalance for numerous reasons. One, these fish, these lobsters are subdued. They are eating fecal matter that possesses the same Ritalin, the same antidepressants, all the things that people are eating and consuming in the medicines. It goes down into your fecal matter, goes down into the ocean, and now these animals are eating it, and now they are subdued, meaning they are high, because the wild and the wildest is wild and eat or be killed. These seafood animals, they don't care about being killed, and that's a problem. You should think about that, because the same effect that the medicine is having on the person is having on the fish, because we're animals too. People forget that. So the fish is eating the same. You see what I'm saying? So it's just a conscious cycle of just the same thing going over and over and over again. Because now you see the people, well, I only eat meat like this. I eat lean. You're still eating the same food. I don't care how healthy you look, because you don't know what's going on the inside. You don't know what's going on the inside. They're like, man, so-and-so works out every day. He just looks amazing. But so-and-so is just rotten to the core on the inside. He a lemon. That's like, I love car and body analogy, right? Because that's a lemon. It look good as hell. You like, oh man, he look good. And you on the inside, oh man, oh my God, I gotta take all these meds. You don't know what's going on the inside. It's the inside that people don't know what's going on. But they treat the outside as if that's the only thing that they feel. You feel more than the outside, but you ignore the inside because I'm gonna keep telling you stuff that you want to hear. That's what I like. They only want to hear what I want to hear. Those are the type of people that need a reality check. That's what's important. Because if you don't realize the bigger picture, what's going on, I just told you about mass producing of cheese. Just told you mass producing of all these lobster boils. And I was like, come on, think about what's going on. Like, it's a reason for all of this. And it's just like, let's keep throwing this food on them because they're going to keep eating it. They don't control their mind because they know the Common Sense Act. Remember I said that? You can't sue no place. You can't sue them. So I want people to know, go look this up. You can't go sue them. He's like, oh, I got sick because I ate this. Oh, well, look at the law. Look at the legislation that was passed. We good. It's like, come on. Like, that's the part of that old mentality that I can't get with it. And like you said, even to go back to one of the viewers' question about how food changed. The food of today, my grandma couldn't even pronounce those ingredients. She didn't cook with none of those. None of them. So it's just like, yeah, everything changed, especially for people of color in certain areas that deemed unfit. People deemed unfit. They were like, oh yeah, we put them in there as a food desert. We're going to put them there. There's no need for us to put high quality anything over there because they're a project. And we're going to keep them as a project. Let's project how we can just keep them where they're at. Remember, I told you about that pig analogy. I told you, we are the pigs. We are part of a different race, a part of a different culture, a part of a different time, but we've been told that we can't do these type of things because you project fear. And as long as fear is in you, you don't really move the needle too much. You're going to stay where you're at. And if you're staying where you're at, most people are fine with that because now you aren't of any competition of mine. I can keep you right where you're at and let you stay there while I keep on moving up and I keep you right where you're at. That's kind of like with the fish being subdued, the seafood being subdued and the studies showing it. The studies are showing that these fish are just out their mind. They don't know if they're coming or going. And now you just have a multitude of, oh, I'm about to eat this seafood boil. Or I got jumbo shrimp. What is a jumbo shrimp? What is that? I mean, for real, like, what is it? See, the thing is, people don't understand that lobsters, shrimps, and crab, they are just roaches of the sea. And I know people be like, come on, it's a roach that can swim. You put a little butter on it. I mean, that's what people, I'm just giving you how people give it to me. It's like, no, you eating these type of things. We are not supposed to have dairy, okay? We are not supposed to consume dairy. Dairy is meant for a baby calf. We are not baby calves. It provides casomorphins, which provides inflammation, which provides mucus, which makes you sick.
Hey, man. Oh my God.
These are the things that you got to do.
I'm laughing at you because I'm not laughing at you is what I'm trying to say, but you are talking and I was just thinking about, I have a monthly segment with Dr. Shirley Hill. She's a natural hygienist. And you are just her personified on today, with your discussions. And I was looking at, Brandy said here, he and Dr. Shirley should do a show together. They would devastate our lives while getting us right together. Yeah, I was thinking about her as he was talking, Brand. I really was. Let's see. I think Buddy Gill says, I was waiting on you to suggest something like this. He said, not so fast. No, but yeah, this is definitely something we got to take heed to this. Dr. Shirley comes to us every month, and then for Patrick to come on here this one time and tell us the exact same thing. God is he's talking, and we have to listen. We have to listen. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss any other comments on here on today. I'm laughing at you, Buddy, and your meme here. Oh goodness. Since they'll have us crying but healthy, and Army Mom strong. Oh, okay, so you were telling that to who, Brandy? They're having their own conversation here. They say they would totally wreck it for the better. They're joking, but they understand what you're saying, and they're taking it in. Oh, yeah. So this is definitely. Boy, that you just laid down the law. You kind of left me a little bit there. But
one day at a time.
Yeah. But thank you for sharing that about your family. And I didn't know that your wife or your family had taken on the same vegan lifestyle as you. And that's wonderful. You seem like an individual who probably would have just gone on anywhere and continued doing it because of your determination. But I know that it helps. To have, that you everybody's in sync, in your house. Like you said, it actually, the atmosphere has changed. And that has to be a result of that. And thank you for breaking down basically what food will do, or the different foods that we consume, what it will do to you. So yeah, we got to take this in. I say jokingly a lot of times, the older I get, the more I'll change, but you're a young man. You made this change early on, whether it was put up on you or you made you change or not, but you have made that change. And I'm so grateful that you have come on today to share this journey, because it's so important. Let me ask you this before we exit on today. Where do you, now I know you said earlier, ClearMind Fitness is here to stay, they ain't going nowhere. Well, what else does Patrick want to see to come out of this? Whether it is just you continuing to help individuals. I don't know if it's individually, collectively. I don't know if you go out and you do talks or what have you. What else do you want to see come out of this?
No, go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That was it. What else do you want to see to come out of this?
Well, the podcast alone has been the vessel. And just starting out, I didn't know what I was doing. I thought it was just going to be something that I did maybe once or twice. And once I started gaining traction with it, I had a co-host, and we were just doing something. And it was just like, it was fun. And I started putting things together, like started writing shows and started producing, and then started wearing all these hats. And I was like, yo, I could really do this. And then I would start looking at numbers, and I'm seeing that the podcast is like being streamed in all these other countries. And I'm like, I'm going to keep doing this. So now I want to be a motivational speaker. That's like more of my lane, but I don't want to necessarily put a name on it to just put me in a box. That's why when I open my box, I'm always knowing I'm going somewhere different, because even though I motivate, I want to inspire, because motivating and inspiring are two different things to me. So I want to inspire people, but I also want to motivate you to get up to do it. People can be inspired and still sit down. Like, oh yeah, I'm inspired by that. That was moving. But they still stay where they're at. Like, no, I want to motivate you to get up as well. So I see myself helping boys and girls and men who look like me, even when it comes to literacy. Like, I want to help men with literacy. Studies show right now that there are men who look like me in my age group and older who are reading at a 3rd and 4th grade level. And that's troubling to me. And I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, you have grown men, not even just saying grown men, you have men who look like me, don't even know how to write in cursive. So you just have these I want to say small things, but they are very important. And it's an intricate process that we have overlooked for too long. And there are many ways to utilize these resources to push the goal forward, to push this narrative forward. So to your question, ClearMind Fitness is not going anywhere, and we're here to stay. So if it's in the ways of literacy, if it's in the ways of just self-love, appreciation, motivation, running, cycling, swimming. I used to be a lifeguard, which is funny too, which I'm going to finally do like the Ironman thing now, whatever. But I do all of these things that I didn't know it was going to help me later in life. Like I didn't know how to swim. I learned how to swim in high school. My first day of swimming, I got pushed into 12 feet and learned how to tread that day. So it was just like, oh, and I just learned how to, and I'm quick with learning. And that's why I always have these ideas. I always have things I want to help people. I just want to help people, because when you help people, it shows. And when you love, it shows. Love is the most important tool that we have. And I want people to understand that people need to hear that they're loved every day. You have people walking this earth right now who haven't heard that they're loved in days, in months, in weeks, in years. So it's hard to even see once you come across with love, you don't even know what it looks like anymore, because you haven't been told those type of things. I tell my wife, I tell my daughters every day that I love them and they're beautiful. You know why? Not because it's just the right thing to do, because I honestly, truly feel that. And if I can give you those things, you can start to understand that, hey, I love me already. And you know what? It's good that my daddy loves me, but you know what? He builds me up to me for me to love myself first. Take care of yourself first. Don't put yourself in situations that's going to knowingly drain you. That's what you have to just call it out. Call a spade a spade. That's not self-love. If I go into a situation where I know this person is going to drain me, even if I remain silent in all of my activities. If it just rubs me the wrong way energy-wise, I don't love myself enough. I don't care who's there. If I know that this is going to drain me and I'm going to leave a different person than what I came and it's not in a good way, then I need to remove myself from there. Not the person, just remove myself. There are so many different ways to be happy, but we just have to tap into them.
Love it.
Gotta learn how to tap in.
All right. Well, you all make sure you go to his website, clearmindfitness.com. Just all
check out the podcast.
Yes. Tell
everywhere.
us. Yeah. When is your podcast?
Well, every Thursday at 8 p.m. on Facebook, but you can go listen to all. I'm on season 4 right now, so you can go listen to 1 through 64 on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean, wherever podcasts are being streamed. Out of the ClearMind Fitness podcast is all there, all 64 episodes, and tomorrow will be number 65. So it'll be season 4, episode 5 tomorrow, but you can go check out all the previous episodes wherever your favorite podcasts are streamed.
Okay, man. Now you see, he's not a newbie. You know, he knows his way around. Broadcast.
I've done it a couple times.
64, 65 times.
I've done it a couple times.
I love it. I love it.
I love it. Oh, see, look.
There you
Let's
go.
go. Let's go, Annette. Woo! You're caught in that net. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let me see a few more comments before we end. Buddy says, Patrick, I'm praying that God will open those doors for you, praying that he'll do it in such a way that he'll blow your mind. I believe you deserve it. All right. And
man. Appreciate that.
Okay. Theoda says here, you motivated me in the spirit. I'm physically healthy, but you made me mentally stronger. All right.
Let's go.
Let's go. I should at the end of every comment, huh?
Hey, I love it. I love this.
Jackie, we appreciate you. I see you just joined us. You may have to go back and rewind because we're about to end on today. Yes, we're definitely praying for you, Theodos. Thank you. Theodos says, let's go.
Oh, yeah. We're praying for you always. Let's go. I pray for everyone. Every single day, I pray for every person on this planet. Every day.
Beautiful.
Not one person goes missing.
Beautiful.
That prayer.
I love your mindset. I love it. We do, again, appreciate you for taking time out on today and coming and sharing with us and encouraging and motivating us by being transparent and talking about your own journey and bringing us full circle to kind of look at ourselves and what we need to change ourselves. But we definitely need to make sure you get in contact with Dr. Shirley Hill. Y'all need to do something together. Maybe I need to put together some kind of I don't know, a panel, a seminar or something, have both of you on there.
We speak those things in existence as if they were. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I got to get my head. Let's go.
I love it.
Yes. And then again, thank you, Zoriante, for this connection, for introducing us and making the
yes.
on today. I don't want to take you for granted and what you did. Now, listen, let me do this before I end on today. I have, and you guys heard me at the beginning of the broadcast, and I'm doing it at the end as well. Mind, Body, and Soul has a new sponsor on this week, and I want to share their promo with you real quick. Just take a listen to this. The Irie Cup, and they have a wonderful product in teas. A word from our sponsor.
Do you love tea? No, not the gossip. I'm talking about the soothing cup of herbal or fruity teas that wake you up in the morning or relaxes you at night.
Well, the Irie Cup has you covered with their premium, flavorful, whole leaf tea selection. Not only are the flavors robust, but because their tea leaves are fully intact, you reap all the natural benefits tea has to offer.
And right now, receive 10% off your first order when you subscribe to our mailing list. That's 10% off your first order.
Visit www.theiriecup.com to place your first order today. That's www.theiriecup.com. getcaughtinAnet.com to place your order today.
Welcome to your tea oasis.
All right, all right. I think I may have been mispronouncing it. I think I kept calling it the Irie Cup. So you guys forgive me. It's the Irie Cup, the Irie Cup. And they have wonderful teas. I am drinking my tea on today. I don't know if you see my little logo here on my cup. So the Irie Cup got caught in the net.
Yeah, I see.
But they have wonderful teas. You guys you got to check them out. Beautiful couple, Joseph and LaShonda Lewis. They're beautiful couple. They're my godchildren, but that's not why I want you to go to the website. I want you to go because they want to make a difference as well. And they've started up this wonderful, wonderful business. And so they wanted to be a sponsor of Mind, Body, and Soul. And so we're appreciative and we welcome them aboard. So make sure you go there. I think you're going to get 10% off if you go and place your first order on today. And trust me, you will not be disappointed. I see some on here that are making comments. They have placed their orders and they have been enjoying it. Oh, you said they may snatch you up. Today I am drinking, I think this is peppermint tea. So they have a variety of teas. So make sure you go there. Just want to throw that back out there. Again, thanking my guest on today, Patrick. I can't thank you enough. I'm going to go to your podcast. I've actually started trying to pull something up so that I can look at your podcast and make sure that I keep up with you that way. You guys,
Oh, yeah.
What time on Thursdays do you come on?
8 p.m. 8 p.m. on Thursdays.
And that's when you do your live feed of your podcast.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
I do the live, and then I'm going to actually put up my other episodes on my website as well, so you can go back and you can look at the live videos, the live portion. And I'm gonna put it on my Facebook.
Oh, okay. All right. And then you're gonna make sure to put those pictures up that Zori was asking about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna put pictures up. I'm definitely gonna do that.
All right.
And that way everyone can see.
Wonderful, wonderful. Any last words that you want to give us on today?
Well, one thing that I want to say is that I love everyone, and there's nothing they can do about it. That's one thing that I love. You can't do nothing about the way I love you. You can't. So, but another thing I should say is that I just want to make sure, no matter what that I do, no matter what I do, I want to make sure that I give my all. And I want to make sure that I give my all to everyone who needs it. Someone needs to see what I do. And I'm not only just doing it for myself, I do it for others because that's what I wake up to do every single day. So if I can get up and you can see me run and that motivates you to get up and inspires you to get up, I appreciate that. And I appreciate every single person that's ever even thought about listening to my podcast because, like I said, it started off as just an idea. I didn't know what I was doing. Even if you listen to the first episode, I'm sounding all like, yes, I can talk like this. This is my mic, and I don't sound like a host. But I think that's the beauty part of it is that you just jump out on faith. You jump out on faith, and now I look at it that the ClearMind Fitness podcast is being streamed in 48 countries right now, and I really think that's just something that like I said, I didn't know it was going to be like this. I didn't know, but that's the beauty of it. So what I want to leave anyone with, the beauty is in change. And the change is once you've healed, you trust the change that you made. So I just want to leave everyone with that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, you have been an inspiration on today. So thank you again. And yeah, I'm gonna check out your podcast. Now, Patrick, don't go anywhere while I do my closing because I need to ask you something off air. So don't go anywhere.
Okay.
All right, guys, make sure you come back next week. We will have Dr. Hill on next week. We're switching her around. Dr. Hill will be on next week for her monthly health and wellness segment. So we will put up the promos to let you know what the discussion will be about. But make sure you guys come back on next week. Now, on tomorrow night, my second show, A&D Conversation, Apostle Hunt and I are going to recognize our 2-year anniversary for A&D. Can you believe it's been 2 years for A&D? Yes, yes, yes. Yes.
Let's go.
Let's go. So tomorrow night, we're going to go back down memory lane. We're going to share our favorite shows, episodes, the things about A&D that have excited us. And then we're going to ask you to do the same. Those of you that follow us, those of you that support us. And hey, you may get a gift on tomorrow night. So we need you to engage with us tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. A&D conversation. Go to my website for any information that you may have missed. GetcaughtinAnetradio.com. GetcaughtinAnetradio.com. And you will definitely be able to catch up on everything. So until next time, thank you, Buddy. I appreciate that comment. Appreciate you, Bud. If Buddy says it's a good show, it's a good show.
Let's go.
How about that? Yes, let's go. And until next time, guys, make sure you get caught in a net.
Get caught in a net with ANet. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with ANet. It's your intellectual radio show. Here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net with ANet.
All right, guys, I always tell you at the end of every broadcast, make sure you wash your hands, wear your mask, stay safe out there. All right, and peace.